Hey, welcome to Encore Chat. We're here today with Chris Parr, and I'm your host, Peach Meathauser. No, I'm not. I'm Joe Howell. Anyway, Chris, great drumming that we saw in that video. There are a couple of things that Chris does that's really interesting. One, he makes music videos to teach kids about science stuff, which we'll get into. Two, he makes drum sets. And three, he is a drummer. So let's start with the drumming. How'd you get involved with the drumming?
Well, I guess it started about 35 years ago.
Ouch.
Yeah, my father was a drummer, and one day my brother and I were sort of banging around on our beds with some sticks, and my father decided the time was now. So he went up in the attic and he pulled down an old 1963 Slingerland drum set that he had when he was 18 years old.
Wow.
And he brought it down, set it up, and that was it. It was just magic.
Now, was that for you and your brother?
Yes, for my brother and I. And at that point, you couldn't take the sticks out of our hands. That's just what it ended up being.
How'd you wind up sharing the drum kit? It's always tough.
My brother and I actually did get along very well when we were younger. But as soon as one of us got up from the stool, the other one sat down and started playing. So
Nice. Now, did you do any studying with that?
My brother, being 4 years older than me, started taking lessons at a store. And at that point, my parents didn't think that I was, as into it as he was. But what would happen is he would come home from his lessons, and the books would be out, and then he would show me essentially what he just learned. So he sort of became my teacher.
Wild.
So he would learn it and then come home and teach me what he was doing.
Now, how long did that last? How old? What was the time period of your timeline of age?
That was probably we're looking at 7 years that happened.
Wow.
My parents never actually paid for lessons for me.
That's pretty awesome for them.
Because I was someone that was able to pick things up very, very easily.
Okay.
And so when my brother was coming home, learning the information, and then I would, when we got even a little bit older, both of our rooms were next to each other. So he ended up getting a drum set, and then I ended up getting a drum set. So they were in two separate rooms, and he would come home and start playing something, and I would listen to what he was playing in the other room, and then I would play it back.
That's
So
pretty
that was
amazing.
so I was very easy, or it was easy for me just to listen. And then sort of play the exact same thing that he was doing on the drums that he had just learned.
Okay, so now it brings me up to pretty much the time I met you. I probably met you 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And you were in the County College of Mars Jazz Ensemble at that time. And were you studying music then?
Yes, then I was studying music. So of course when, all through high school, I was in the marching band, concert band.
Well,
as
marching bands are quite labor intensive with study.
Yeah, so
think.
I did have an instructor there, but I didn't have a personal instructor that I was going to at that time. But I did have an instructor in high school, and so that was 4 years. And then actually, my senior year, I did a little bit of writing of some music for our marching ensemble, and I started to write some ensemble music for choral music, like drum choral music, and. Someone who had come in and was doing a little bit of work with our band saw me, saw what I was doing, and then thought it might be a nice idea when I graduated to start teaching marching band. So I guess it was 10 years I taught Wayne Hills High School marching band.
Wow.
I also taught for
Now,
a couple
is this during
of years.
high school or college?
No, this is during college, while I was at County College of
Okay.
Morris and beyond. And I also taught Pequannock. I taught for a couple of years, and I think it was Booton for a year.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
studying. Okay, so and what are you doing now as far as, because I know you're really busy between teaching, school.
Right now, I mean, I'm a middle school teacher. I also play in essentially like a wedding band, the Chris Michaels band,
Nice.
which I'm doing approximately 60 to 100 dates a year with that.
That's slamming, Dad.
Which
So you're
is
still in
great.
the game.
Yeah, still playing every weekend.
All right, let's talk about you being a science teacher. Now, you came up with all of these videos, which you'll see in the link below. What spawned that?
I was. It was interesting. I was teaching my students about plate tectonics. I'm a science teacher, and my students were having a difficult time understanding, the concepts of how the plates move. So what I ended up doing I was listening to the radio on the way home, and that song "DJ Got Us Falling in Love Again" came on.
I don't listen to radio. I don't know that
Yeah,
song.
it's like it was a pop music song. So, and in the song, like one of the first lyrics is "side to side," and that's actually one of the ways in which the plates move. So I got home and I just thought this would be kind of funny if my students would enjoy this. So I rewrote all of the lyrics.
How long did that take you?
The first one took me probably about an hour and a half to just write the song. And then I sang the song terribly into GarageBand, which is one of the Mac programs.
Right. Well, there's probably an auto-tune or some kind of pitch correct.
Yeah, there was some that I had to use a little bit of because I'm not a singer, I'm a drummer. I posted up and my kids, could not get enough of it.
That's awesome.
All they wanted to do was listen to the song constantly in class. And then, of course, when the assessment came around, almost everyone got 100. And I thought, well, I think I have something here.
Yeah.
And now I have 180 songs, pretty much on any topic you could imagine,
That's
from
crazy.
6th grade all the way into high school, and 48,000 subscribers all over the world.
My goodness. Well, for me, it was hold the pickles, hold the lettuce, special orders, don't upset. And at least you turned it into something that people can use. All right, so that's quite impressive. Now, this whole drum making thing, all right? So you produce drum sets.
Yes, I do.
And how'd you get involved with that? And
It's another one of those things. My father is a carpenter, and for my brother and I, whenever my father was building something for someone, he would always take us along and sort of build. And one day I just thought, I would love to make a snare drum for myself, just to see what I could do. I bought some of the materials in which I needed, and I made it, and I was pretty impressed with myself that it came out okay. Then I started to build, other pieces of drum sets that I couldn't find anymore, and try to replicate them. I had a custom drum set that I had bought from someone, like down in Georgia, and he ended up going out of business.
Okay.
So I ended up trying to replicate an 8-inch tom that I never bought from him. And I did it. And at that point I was like, you know what? It wasn't that difficult to do, and it sounds great. And then a very, very good friend of mine, his name is Joey Lauricella, and he owns the Federa bass company.
Oh, it's nice. Beautiful instruments.
Yeah, so knowing Joey, he encouraged me and said, you know what, this is great. This is the same kind of stuff I see down in NAMM. This is, what you're doing here. So he kind of encouraged me to kind of push it and see where it could go. And it's been about 10 years of building at this point. I've sold a lot of stuff, not as much as I would like to, as you know. But when you're dealing with something that is handcrafted and handmade,
right. And it's like high-end wood too.
Everything is high-end.
Those things look like basses. They look like something I would want to have a bass made out of.
Well, that's why Joey saw it as well, because it kind of mimicked a lot of what he was doing. And if you get a chance, check out the Federa Bass Company.
Absolutely.
They have some phenomenal instruments.
Yeah, they do.
And I to be honest, I think my stuff really does look similar to his designs and the kind of
should be a rhythm section thing. Man, that's awesome. All right, music education. How do you feel about studying an instrument?
I think it's extremely important. There are so many studies out there that have been done about, to be honest, how much smarter kids end up being when they learn an instrument, because it's not just being able to play. You're learning a new language. And it's not only a language that you're learning, but you're actually conversing with others when you're playing.
Absolutely.
When you really start understanding what music is about, 20% of it is probably what you're playing, and 80% is listening to what others are doing. And it really opens your eyes to just a whole genre that you wouldn't be interested in or even understand if you didn't play an instrument. Musicians listen to music much different than people who don't play an instrument.
Yeah, I'm sure directors of movies look at things a lot differently than. So once you're into something, that's very insightful. How do you feel about the internet? Like, all right, I'm Joe Schmo, and I'm going to go play, and I don't really need a teacher because I can see it on the internet. So What is the rebuttal to that, if there is one?
Well, I'll actually connect it with my science songs.
Okay.
Okay, so, obviously I post a lot of things up online for people to use to help them to study. And I say this to my students all the time. My songs are there as a support. It's there to, once you know the information, then you can listen to the songs, and then the information will set in, and it's just another way to sort of study and to research. But I would never just play songs in my classroom and hope that they would get the information without the guidance of a teacher to help them along.
Awesome.
So I believe that when you're learning an instrument, of course you can look online. Yes, you can see what someone's hands might be doing, or you might be seeing what their feet might be doing, and you can try to replicate that, but without having someone there to hold your hand and make sure that you're doing the right kind of playing. You might not be holding the sticks properly, you might not be sitting properly, and you can get into some horrible habits by just looking at things online. I think it's a wonderful resource, obviously, for what I do, my science classroom, and when I post things up for people to see, like on my Facebook page for Eon. But you have to have somebody there that's going to guide you through.
Chris, thank you so much for being on the Encore Chat and all of your insightfulness. And we are going to post a lot of links underneath, so you'll be able to see what Chris is up to. Check out the science songs, check out the drum sets, check him out. He's a class 1 smart dude. Thank you for Encore Chat. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to Encore Chat. My name is Peach Meadhauser, and I own a small music store called Schmeed's Music, which is located in the Pine Plaza Shopping Center in Whippany, New Jersey. I just want to thank you all for watching, and I just want to stress how important it is to learn, to play a musical instrument no matter what it might be, and to really, really better yourself in learning. And I just want to thank you guys and everybody for taking the time to watch our shows, and stay tuned for more videos to come.